And just an announcement, another safety announcement for the racers. We do have night lighting at the track, but if you do have headlights on your cars, we do still request that you have them turned on. We understand not all cars have headlights. That's totally fine. If you do, please use them. It's for your own safety. It's just to make sure that we can all get, hopefully to the end of this thing without any more major incidents. Chris Stone in the Stone Cold Racing Dart chasing after Dave Young's Malibu. And gets around him for the win at the top end. 008 on the tree to Dave Young's 062 will net Chris Stone the non-electronic win there. He'll move on to the semifinals. So we move into the junior grudge match. It was supposed to be the Thunder and Lightning finalists going up against each other, but in the semis, both Thunder finalists were eliminated, leaving us with the Lightning drivers. Lexi Winterbottom setting it up here. Tower side. And Abigail White Lordco side. Winterbottom will lead first by about one click of a bulb. Both races away, and I can tell you right now, it's gonna be close. Winterbottom is only 3 thou in the back pocket, and will carry that through to take the win. Lexi Winterbottom will win the junior grudge match. So congratulations for Lexi Winterbottom for winning here in Doorwarz 10, for the junior dragsters. As you look at the margin of victory on the Lucas Oil Products instant replay. So I mentioned this earlier that the junior street guys were having a best 2 of 3 shootout amongst themselves, seeing as there's only 2 of them racing in the junior street category. Richard Peterson going to be going up in the 95 Camaro to Cody Palooza's Chevy Silverado. These drivers have 1 apiece. I'm going to correct myself and act like I knew that Cody Palooza was in the Camaro the entire time. 2 green lights. This is for all the marbles in the Junior Street. Best of 3 shootout is what I've decided arbitrarily to call it right now. And it's going to be Cody Plews. Cody Plews took the first win, went red on the second run, and when it really mattered, pulls it out by 300ths for the win. So we move back into electronic eliminations out to the quarter mile. We are now in semifinals with 3 drivers left in competition. Wes Hendricks out of Heffley Creek, BC, and the 1968 Ford Falcon will be taking it to Dan Parsons. Quality Racing Duster out of Powell River. $10.25 to a $10.89. Advantage will go to Hendricks. Two green lights. Hendricks running down Parsons towards the quarter mile. Win line for Dan Parsons, who stays out in front. Al quickly out of Aldergrove, and the Mustang going to be having a free pass to the final round with the bye. So you look at what the electronic ladders will be lining up as, with Dan Parsons going to be going up against Al Quigley over in the electronic final. It's been a long day for that class. Lots of cars to eliminate, but even longer for non-electronics, who are now going into their semifinals, or at least they will be before too long. I think we got a couple of classes to run firsthand. While we're at it, we want to make the call for all junior racers on the property, street and dragsters galore. We need you down to the winner's circle in 15 minutes. All juniors, we need you down at 15 minutes to the winner's circle.
So, Paul Stretch going up against Peter Lacanis in Doorslammer action. As we whittle our way down towards the final round, Paul Stretch dialed in with a 7:24 to Peter Lacanis' 8:56. Lacanis will leave first, and this is the final round. So Peter Lacanis, who is already in the final round, last night defeated by Derek Shirt, and Paul Stretch. Peter Lacanis, double. Oh, wow. Look at that on the line. At the finish line, it is Peter Lacanis. Lacanis in 8:57 with a 2 on an 8:56 dial-in. So Peter Lacanis gets the win. 002 on the tree. 8:57 with a 2 on an 8:56. So looks like Devin Jansen making a test lap here in the Nova. Lighting that bottom bulb, and Devin Jansen wheels up launch for the Nova. So Devin Jansen in the Nova in 8:49 at 157 miles an hour. So, congrats to Peter Lacanis, putting together a nice package there with that 002 light, 857 with a 2 on the 856 dial-in for the Corvette, and congratulations to Peter, the Doorwarz 10 champion in that 63 Vet. And again, Devin Jansen out of Armstrong just making a test hit at the tail end of the Doorslammer finals there with that Nova, running it through to the top end with an 849 with a 7, 157 miles an hour for the Nova. So there you can see up on the big screen the results for Canada West Doorslammer, presented this weekend by Paradise Homes. Peter Lacanis taking out Paul Stretch in the Doorslammer finals. Stretch from the island, Lacanis taking this one home for the mainland and the Fraser Valley. So congratulations to Peter Lacanis, again getting that Doorslammer win, and I know Nolan will be happy about that one after losing out last night. He had the win in the bag and then unfortunately broke out at the stripe.
It's a mistake that you do not make twice. While we have finished up a couple of classes, there are still many more that are awaiting your finals and semifinals, so we are going to make that call. If you are still in competition, we need you to the staging lanes. All racers that are still in competition, please come on down to the staging lanes as soon as possible. 604 Street Legit rolling into the water box. Tom Turan going to be coming on up for his next round of eliminations. So Turan going to be on a solo pass in the Daytona Motorsports Kraken Suzuki motorcycle. Walking his way up to the staging beams. And Turan going to opt to just break the beams and back it out. And hey, you can do that if you're by yourself. All you got to do is break those stage beams once that green light trips on, and you are going to be smooth sailing. And you can see Turan testing the waters a little bit down to the starting line for Chris Wiens. Burnouts complete for the car on the Lordco side, driven by Dom Murray and the Barracuda, Chris Wiens. Rolling it right up beside him in the monster machine. Oh, Wiens is ready, you can tell. Two green bulbs, bike versus car. Murray a little bit out of the groove, but is going to keep his foot in it, ripping it out, and he'll stay in front. Chris Wiens did not have it to run down the Barracuda, and Dom Murray will move on. Oh, that didn't sound healthy at all. I don't think that's how that was intended to go. There was quite the big backfire, and Rob Monroe's car just went. I think it kind of decided what the general move was. It felt tired, and it said, you know what? We're done here for now. We're just going to back up. You're going to come back for the finals. There are some times where sometimes you have to wonder if machinery can sometimes be sentient, even if it's just auto parts. You can usually tell right away when somebody tries to get their foot down to the car, it's just like, nah, we're done here for now.
Yeah, Rob Monroe getting backed out from the staging beams, and we'll roll her on back after breaking the beams in the Model A, and hopefully not breaking anything in the Model A. He'll drive her back to the pits. Looks like it's still running under its own power. Tom Turan also just breaking the beams on the Daytona Motorsports Suzuki, so he'll back his bike out of the way. And of course, getting down towards the nitty-gritty here in Doorwarz 10 as we start to approach the final rounds. Once again, we'll make the call for all competitors still in competition to start making their way back to the staging lanes. All competitors still in competition, please make your way back to the staging lanes. Thank you.
Want to just thank some of the people that have helped to, put this whole performance for Doorwarz 10 on. Obviously, a huge thank you goes out to the staff for taking the time out of their weekends, especially in the heat of Friday, to help to ensure that we are all racing safe. Want to obviously thank the racers. You would not have a race without the racers. Want to thank Valley Tech for bringing the production on MRP Lordco TV to the world. This would be very, very localized had it not been for them, or they have been putting on a stellar production all day long and all weekend long. But I think last but certainly not least, want to thank all of the stands, especially all of the fans, especially those still hanging around in the stands despite it being well past 10 o'clock in the evening. You guys are the true fans, the ones that don't just leave after one pass. You'll stick around and be here from start to finish. So huge thank you all for coming on out. It has been an excellent Doorwarz 10 event. And hopefully we will be back up to racing shortly. We've made the call for all competitors still in competition back to the staging lanes.
Attention the pits, Outlaw 275 competitors, you can have your cool down period and come after the other finalists and competitors have run again. Outlaw 275, you guys can have a cool down period and come to the lanes at the tail end of everybody else. Well, you fans that have stuck around this entire time to see the Doorwarz winner in Pro Modified crown, looks like the first half of the two finalists is rolled up underneath the Lordco Auto Parts Bridge. Khalid Balooshi will be in the Lordco Auto Parts lane, and Dean Bettinson, we can see him in the staging lanes getting strapped in to his 2017 Camaro. Bettinson being pushed underneath the Lordco Auto Parts Bridge as we speak.
The West Coast Pro Modifieds would like to thank Artex Racing, supported by Total Dairy Solutions,
ChopMyRate.ca,
Daco Ventures, Mario High Performance Diesel,
24/7 Compression with Bel Air Power,
Waukesha Pierce Industries,
RCT Engineering,
Gen 3 Speed Trackside Tuning,
Canadian Performance Injection,
K2 Consulting,
Pro One Safety with TNT Motorsports,
Van Ross Services,
Super T Brand Builders,
and Signature Sandman in South Edmonton.
Join us next weekend, July 8th to 10th on HNLive.ca for full free coverage of the Rocky Mountain Nationals
At Rad Torque Raceway. Advertising opportunities still available. Go to westcoastpromodifieds.com for more details. West Coast Pro Modifieds. Just send it.
Well, Dean Bettinson's car fires, as well as Khalid Balooshi here in the Pro Modified Finals of Doorwarz 10. The number 1 and 2 qualifiers facing off against each other. Dean Bettinson out of Red Deer, Alberta, the 24/7 compression Bel Air Power Gen 3 Speed Camaro with that 376.2 in qualifying, the number 2 spot into the 370 zone all weekend long, with the exception, well, of last round where he went a 380. 395 in his first hit of the weekend for Dean Bettinson. There you can see his crew member adjusting the wheelie bars that they use to help plant these race cars off the starting line. Both Bettinson and Balooshi with those front wheels up to at least the 300-foot mark is Khalid Balooshi. Roots blown Camaro being brought into the staging or beams here for Bahrain 1 Racing. Dean Bettinson in the Pro Charge Camaro, the TCS lane. We are going to decide who is the Pro Modified champion for Doorwarz for the 10th edition in just a few moments. Crew chiefs looking at each other, making their way back behind the cars. Balooshi is pre-staged. Bettinson will bring the Camaro in, waiting on them to stage. Balooshi in first. Here comes Bettinson. Bettinson off the line, almost identical, and Dean Bettinson takes out Khalid Balooshi. Dean Bettinson will win Doorwarz on a hole shot by 1/1000th of a second, and that's what it looks like on the Lucas Oil Instant Replay Cam. Dean Bettinson, your Doorwarz champion on a hole shot. Bettinson, 376 with a 195 miles an hour, defeats a losing 376 with a 4 at 051 light for Bettinson and 053 light for Balooshi. And again, the margin of victory at the stripe, 1/1000th of a second.
You do not get any closer than that. Dead even on the tree, dead even on ET, borderline dead even on the mile an hour, dead even at the 8th mile. Holy cow. Could not ask for a better finish as your results up on your screen. Dean Bettinson taking the win in West Coast Pro Modifieds in Door Wars 10.
And you saw the dust, both cars out of the groove, and they both might have clipped the 1,000-foot cone, so that's what they are looking at down there right now, but neither driver clipping the 8th-mile cone. That was after the finish line. So Dean Bettinson, your Door Wars 10 winner out of Red Deer, Alberta, keeping it in Canada. Khalid, Balooshi, Val, and effort there, but it was on the starting line, a 0.02 of a second difference on the starting line, and Bettinson holds it out 1/1,000th, the margin of victory at the stripe. Don Murray, we need you to the staging lanes, please. Don Murray to the staging lanes, please. Well, as we try to do some plastic surgery to the foam block at the top end of the racetrack to, well, some more or less reconstructive surgery to the foam block at the 1,000-foot mark. That is still ongoing. We had some of the interviews throughout the weekend. Neil Richards, unfortunately, getting knocked out earlier on in Outlaw 275 competition, but on Thursday I had the chance to catch up with him and have him give us a look at the Cream Dream 1979 Mercury Zephyr. All right, speaking of Doorwarz 10, a former Doorwarz winner, and Neil Richards right beside me in Outlaw 275. And Neil, the Cream Dream Mercury Zephyr, what made you want to turn an 80s Mercury Zephyr into a race car?
I built this car as a twin. I had a street car that was a Survivor with the same paint scheme, and so I had both of them. One was a street car, this was the race car. I recently got rid of the street car, but yeah, just something different, a sleeper, something that, you know, not everybody would expect.
And now with this car, it's had quite a lot of success here on the West Coast, all over the place, back in Edmonton, in Alberta, where you're from. You took a year off last year to kind of update this thing. What kind of updates went on with the Cream Dream?
Just a bunch of changes in the engine program. I build the engines. AMS Engines does all the machine work and helps me out with all the parts and that kind of stuff. So made some changes there, made some changes in the converter program. We have Circle D Specialties working with us. We got a killer new converter program. Hutch transmissions, updated our tranny, changed a bunch of stuff there. And then just changed the look of the car a little bit, put polished wheels back on it, lowered it a bit more, changed the bull horns, and yeah, just give it a little freshen up, that's all.
With the class here, Outlaw 275, you were at the first Doorwarz in the final round of it, back when you guys were running quarter mile, and then obviously switching to eighth mile, a little bit less hairy. But what's it like to see 20 cars here this weekend for Doorwarz in this category?
It's awesome. Honestly, I've ran this class since the beginning, and it's nice to see it finally starting to get some traction and some love around here. We got a super stacked field. I used to always joke, guys would call me a cheater, and I tell them I'm not going too fast, they're going too slow, and now it's proof. There's at least 4 or 5 cars capable of going bottom 40s, high 30s probably, and at least another 10 or 15 real solid competitive cars, so it's really nice to see.
With Outlaw 275, it seems like it's a bit of a driver's and a tuner's race as well, kind of almost more equally split.
Yeah, for sure. It's always a challenge. All these cars make way too much power for this little tire, so it's always a balancing act of getting them down the racetrack and cutting a decent light. Yeah, for sure.
Is there a little bit of suspension work that obviously goes on in the back end to help try and plant things?
Yeah, actually, all these cars, all the front-running cars in this class look like mild street cars, but they all have some pretty serious parts under them for sure.
Well, Neil, thanks for taking the time out. We'll let you get back to working on her, and best of luck this weekend.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, moving on now with Bubba's Speed Shop Non-Electronics. Lorenz Schwartz going rounds. It is 1983 Monte Carlo for the Titanium Autogroup, and Bubba's Speed Shop getting the pass into the next round, and we'll see who he faces in a matter of moments here in semifinal action for no box. 10-10 the dial for Schwartz. He's got the perfect test and tune opportunity to see how close he can get to that dial in, and he will go 1040 with a 101 miles an hour, letting off early at the top end to preserve that 10-10. As up next will come Veronica Hodgson in her 1969 Dodge Dart, and over in the Lordco Auto Parts lane, a completely different Dodge Dart. Chris Stone in a 1968 Dodge Dart. 10:06 the dial for Stone, 12:59 the dial for Hodgson. Hodgson on her way. 017 red, 051 red for Chris Stone, and Veronica Hodgson takes out Chris Stone. So Hodgson will move on to face off against Lorenz Schwartz. So again, going double red. Schwartz going 1261 with a 3 on her 1259 dial. 1008 with an 8 on the 1006 dial for Chris Stone, but that doesn't matter. Stone 051 red, 017 red for Veronica Hodgson, and Hodgson will go to the finals.
So we move into the Vancouver car wraps final. Al Quigley going up against Dan Parsons. Quigley dialed in at a 1072, a 1094 for Parsons in the Quality Racing Duster. Both drivers pre-staged. Make that fully staged. Throttle stops in play for both drivers. I can tell you right now, based on the reaction times, this is going to be as close as it can get. Both drivers dead even on the tree. Breakout for Dan Parsons. Al Quigley will move on. Al Quigley with a 12th thou package was 011 on the tree, as was Parsons. A 10.72 with a 1 on the 1072 dial. Parsons breaking out by 6 thousandths of a second, which crucially here, Cole, means if Parsons doesn't break out there and runs that dial, he's beating Al Quigley because the margin of victory was 500ths.
So congrats to Al Quigley, as looks like we have Tom Turand here as we move on with 604 Street Legit. Turand for Daytona Motorsports on board his 2017 Suzuki GSXR that he calls the Kraken. And Don Murray over in the Lordco Auto Parts lane. 913 the dial for the 1970 Hemi Cuda, as Don Murray pre-stage ready to go. Murray will get the head start over the bike. Turand an 862 dial, and he is out of it early, and Don Murray will get to the finish line first. A 922 with a 9, 126 miles an hour on his 913 dial-in for Don Murray.
Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Lexi Winterbottom, we need you in the winner's circle. Lexi Winterbottom, please make your way on down to the winner's circle.
All right, attention the pits, any remaining finalists and anybody else in competition, we need you guys to the lanes, and that now includes Outlaw 275. Outlaw 275, we need you guys to the staging lanes, as well as anybody else who still has a final round to run. All right, in the waning moments here of Doorwarz 10 on Saturday, the Outlaw 275 semifinals getting ready to roll under the bridge for MDA Fabrication. And we will have Jordan Brandon up against JR Lazic. So the Camaro, the 2000 Camaro out of Lethbridge, Alberta, in the TCS lane, up against JR Lazic in the Lordco Auto Parts lane. So we need all finalists to the lanes. Finalists, we need you in the lanes now. And Al Quigley, we need you to victory lane for your victory photo. Al Quigley, we've got a big fancy check waiting for you. And we need you in victory lane for your photo. Again, all finalists, you need to be in the staging lanes now. So JR Lazic, the nitrous-assisted 500 cubic inch small block Chevy, the 63 Nova, has been going rounds. Number 1 qualifier up against the number 2 qualifier, Jordan Brandon, out of Lethbridge in the turbocharged 2000 Camaro. Lazic qualifying with that 441 at the 5. Jordan Brandon qualifying with a 445 with an 8. So the winner of this round will face Kurt Thompson in the finals. Thompson lined up behind this pair will get the bye run into the finals, as Jordan Brandon will wait to build up the boost in the Camaro. JR Lazic, who put on the double bulb last round against Dan Rodrigue and managed to get the starting line advantage and carry that out in that Nova, trying to make it to the finals of Doorwarz 10 up against Jordan Brandon. Lazic is in, Brandon in, side by side to the top end, and Jordan Brandon, your winner with a 448, 163.75 miles an hour, taking out a 445 with a 7, 162 miles an hour. Brandon with the reaction time advantage, 070 light for Brandon, 072 for Lazic, and holds that advantage all the way down to the 8th mile mark. So Kurt Thompson from Sturgeon, Alberta. Thompson in his 68 Camaro will get this free pass into the final round to face up with Jordan Brandon, who just laid down that 444 against JR Lazic to knock out the number 1 qualifier. Kurt Thompson, the number 3 qualifier. So in the semifinals, we had your number 1, 2, and 3 qualifiers all represented. The fastest 3 cars in the property, all making their way into the semifinals, as Kurt Thompson's crew member guiding him into the beams. The vinyl top on that Camaro, the bright orange machine, getting ready for its semi-final pass. Pre-stage bulb is lit. 020 light for Thompson at the top end of the racetrack. How about a 4:59 with a 161 miles an hour for Kurt Thompson. In the Camaro, as we watch on the Lucas Oil instant replay, solid lap for Thompson with that 4:59 with a 4. All right, limited street final round for the West Coast Outlaws, and it is an exact repeat of the final round that we had from the rain-delayed season opener for the West Coast Outlaws. Vanessa Richards in the TCS lane, taking out that win over the man in the Lordco Auto Parts lane, Justin Gibson. Gibson in a 1988 Fox-bodied Mustang. Vanessa Richards in a 1989 Fox-bodied Mustang. Gibson is pre-stage. Richards flickering on that top bulb. Gibson with the reaction time advantage to the finish line stripe. Vanessa Richards with the horsepower to drive around him. Margin of victory at the stripe, around 0.02 of a second for Vanessa Richards. Gibson 0.54 on the tree, 5:47 with a 6, 125 miles an hour in the losing effort. Richards goes 5:41 with a 2, 128 miles an hour to get the victory in Doorwarz 10. Looks like we have some test hits coming up. Adam Berard and Trevor Mulder lined up and ready to go in the water box. Both of these drivers eliminated from competition earlier on in the day. Adam Berard finishing off his burnout, the white trash Camaro, the 1984 Chevy Camaro, as Trevor Mulder over in the Lordco Auto Parts side of the racetrack, out of the province of Alberta. Motion Performance, Horsepower Solutions, Selkirk Auto Body on board with Trevor Mulder. So as the semifinalists proved, track conditions optimal for Outlaw 275 competitors for MDA Fabrication. In the 8th mile, of course, the heads-up Pro Tree category, as Adam Berard gets guided into the staging beams. Trevor Mulder in the Mustang, trying to make one final hit for his weekend. Strong runs in both lanes. Adam Berard, how about a 4:49 with an 8, 162 miles an hour. So Berard into the 440s, and Trevor Mulder a 497 with a 7. Big wheels up launch for Trevor as he got out of the groove, and it looks like might have had to just get out of it at the last second. 133 miles an hour for his machine, as Tej Sangha is in the Lordco Auto Parts lane on what looks to be a single for Tej for Bubble Racing and JMS Racing. So Tej Sangha pre-staged already in his 88 Mustang out of Surrey, BC. Sangha on a solid run until he gets out of the groove, just pulls it back before he crosses the center line. 6:04 with a 791 miles an hour. Clicking it off early for Tej Sangha. Daniel Rodrigue and Justin Collin in the battle of the nitrous-powered machines. Dan Rodrigue in the TCS side of the racetrack. In the all blacked out Malibu up against Justin Collin in his 83 Mustang. Collin, who had the rear tires completely off the ground in one of his elimination runs. It was a losing elimination run, unfortunately, for Justin Collin, coming back down to earth very hard, but fortunately, by the looks of things, not doing too much damage underneath of that Mustang is Dan Rodrigue. Getting knocked out in earlier rounds of competition, turning the headlights on the Malibu as both drivers will purge the nitrous systems, sending those plumes far up into the night sky. So Justin Collin bringing his Fox body into the beams. Dan Rodrigue seeing what kind of pass he can lay down on what will be potentially his final run of the weekend. Nitrous flames out of the both of them. Justin Collins killing the 1,000-foot cone again in the Mustang as he drifted over into the other lane at the top end of the racetrack. View from the Lucas Oil instant replay cam is Justin Collins going over into the opposing lane and taking out the 1,000-foot cone. All right, and looks like since the 1,000-foot cone was killed, that is going to do it for Saturday of Door Wars 10. So the final rounds will be completed at the next applicable race for each of the categories. So we'd like to thank everybody for coming out here for Saturday of Door Wars 10. We hope you enjoyed yourself. So thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks to all of you that hung around all day long here at Mission Raceway Park. We hope you enjoyed your visit with us and catching out all the racing action. And also we'd like to thank all of you watching on the Valley Tech Productions live stream presented by Lordco Auto Parts. Thanks to everybody for tuning in on that, and a big thanks to Valley Tech Productions for helping us with the live stream. Congratulations to all the winners crowned this evening. And again, we'll finish the final rounds at the next applicable race here for Door Wars 10 for those that were not completed. Well, to those of you still here on the property, and to those of you still watching on the live stream, hang tight. Looks like we might be trying to finish at least some portions of the program, so stand by for further word on that. All right, so to those of you still wondering, looks like we will finish off Outlaw 275 only as the 1,000-foot cone has been killed, so sticking with the 8th mile program, and it looks like we will try and finish out Outlaw 275. All right, sounds like the sensor actually has been fixed at the 1,000-foot mark. So 604 Street Legit finalists, we need you guys to the lanes. 604 Street Legit, we need you guys to the lanes. Also, the no-box final, which I already see, I think, one of the no-box finalists in the lanes, but no-box. If you guys are still in the lanes, you're good to go, but if you are not, we need you in the lanes. So again, remaining finalists, we need you guys to the staging lanes. All right, here we go for the final round in Bubba's Speed Shop Non-Electronics. Again, the sensor was able to be repaired at the 1,000-foot mark, so kudos to the safety team for working hard to get that fixed. As Lorenz Schwartz and Veronica Hodgson will go up against each other in the final round of Bubba's Speed Shop Non-Electronics. So Schwartz dialed in with a 10:15 in the TCS lane. And in the Lordco Auto Parts lane, Veronica Hodgson dialed in with a 12:62. Schwartz now in hot pursuit of Hodgson as they head towards the traps, and it is going to be Veronica Hodgson in the dart taking home the win, a 12:62 with a 0 on her 12:62 dial, dead on the dial, 21 thou package for Veronica Hodgson in the dart. Lorenz Schwartz 0:54 on the tree, breaking out with a 10:14 with a 3. And the crowd goes wild. All right, here we go for 604 Street Legit. Rob Monroe out of Langley in his 1931 Model A, the supercharged small block Chevy for Rob Monroe, up against Don Murray in his 1970 Barracuda, the 426 Hemi underneath the hood. Of course, Don used to run that 1956 Corvette in the early days of Pro Street and had his famed rivalry with Glenn Braid. As Murray is staged, Monroe bumping in the Model A. Murray with the slight head start. Monroe problems. And Don Murray streaks away to the win. 9:19 with a 129 miles an hour. 9:19 with a 1. That on Don Murray's 9:13 dial in, but Rob Monroe having some problems on the starting line with the Model A. 10:63 with a 0. 143 miles an hour for Rob Monroe. So Don Murray will get the win in 6:04's Street Legit in the Plymouth Barracuda. So just one more final round left to run. The Outlaw 275 guys who, when their cars are cooled off, will make their way into the staging lanes, and that will put a wrap on Saturday for Doorwarz 10 here at Mission Raceway Park. And again, we didn't think we were going to get this one in after the 1,000-foot cone got killed, but team coming together, making the necessary repairs in the necessary amount of time. And again, just one last final to complete for MDA Fabrication, Outlaw 275. All right, once again, attention to the pits, Outlaw 275. As soon as you guys are ready, we need you to the staging lanes. You're the only class still left to run your final round. Outlaw 275, we need you guys to the staging lanes as soon as you are ready, as you are the only final that is left to run. Attention the pits, Lorenz Schwartz to victory circle so that you can pick up your runners-up trophy. Lorenz Schwartz to victory circle so you can pick up your runner-up trophy. All right, here we go. The final of the event for Door Wars 10 here on this Saturday of Door Wars, which is about 15 minutes away from turning into Sunday. All right, so Jordan Brandon out of Lethbridge, the turbocharged 2000 Camaro, up against Kurt Thompson in the turbocharged 1968 Camaro. Jordan Brandon into the 440s in the semifinals. Tower side, TCS lane, Lordco Auto Parts lane. Kurt Thompson ran a 457 in the Camaro. The two Alberta drivers getting ready to send off Door Wars Saturday, hopefully in style, and decide who brings home the big check in Outlaw 275. Jordan Brandon's crew member leading him in. Kurt Thompson's crew member also bringing him in. They will both walk to the back of their respective Camaros. Thompson's pre-stage, Brandon's pre-stage, building up the boost. Thompson in first, Brandon's in, now flickering the bottom bulb. Thompson having to pedal it, Brandon having to pedal it, and he is going to leg it on through to the top end. First 465 with a 156 miles an hour, and Jordan Brandon from Lethbridge is your Door Wars champion for Outlaw 275. You can see that Brandon's car making a big wiggle. He had to just get out of it for a second. Kurt Thompson having all sorts of problems hooking up in the Camaro. And that is going to do it officially for the Saturday here at Door Wars. Thanks to everybody for sticking around here. Valley Tech Productions for giving us the great images on the live feed. All the staff here at Mission Raceway Park. Everybody for helping us out and getting through the Saturday here at Door Wars and getting most of the program finished. Thanks to everybody again for coming out and watching in the live stream, watching in person. And great conclusion here to the Saturday, the 10th anniversary of Door Wars.